The United Nations is approaching the Food Systems Summit with a strong clarion call to all: identify game-changing solutions. We Indigenous peoples have also been shouting from our hilltops that our Indigenous peoples' food systems are game changers and they need acknowledgement and specific support. Unfortunately, no one has seriously listened to us so far. The Action Track 4 leadership team has, however, supported this assertion of Indigenous peoples because of evidence. For example, a few months ago, we studied the prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in 18 Indigenous peoples' villages in Northeast India using FAO's Food Insecurity Experience Scale. The study showed that severe food insecurity is virtually non-existent in these 18 villages, while moderate food insecurity in 2020 was experienced at 11%, as against South Asia's level of around 44% and the global level of 30%. This is just one example of the capacity of Indigenous peoples to leave no one behind. Indigenous peoples are not vulnerable, but like all other marginalized groups, they are often put in situations of vulnerability. Their rights are being violated and their livelihoods are being disturbed by modern-day land grabs for extractive industries and industrial agriculture, particularly in countries with no formal recognition of collective rights and tenure, leading to forced migration, displacement, loss of biodiversity, and sometimes militarization of their areas. Their traditional knowledge is often weakened, and modern education is generally provided with no cultural relevance. Our game-changing solution is strengthen the agency of all marginalized groups. Do this by harnessing their traditional knowledge, by resolving the inequalities of access to land, livelihoods, and decent work. Confront the global food industry, one of the largest employers in the world, and yet one that leaves many behind. And be proactive to overcome the resistance of large agribusiness. Seek more for political will and determination and accountability to build a more inclusive world where no one is left behind. Action 4 proposals are therefore setting up of autonomously managed Indigenous Peoples Trust Fund for investments to protect and promote capacities, technical and leadership skills, intercultural education and research, and to advance livelihoods and decent work. Support agroecology and recognize and respect all traditional and legitimate tenure rights, with special focus on women. We must, in fact, do more to raise awareness about the gender transformative approaches that are needed today in our food system. Matriarchal Indigenous communities are socially egalitarian, economically balanced, and politically based on consensus building. They can be our beacons of hope to build back better with women's agency, voice, and leadership. Thank you, Michelle.
Phrang, such a powerful statement, and you have been shouting from the rooftops and doing it with great eloquence to remind us of the knowledge of the Indigenous community and practices and some specific solutions, including the fund, and we must bring that rights-based approach forward. So thank you very much.